Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. So, bringing you an update on the NJOY Loop. Now, I've had my first video on this. I had literally just bought it, literally unboxed it the same day. And as you guys know, it works much like a regular cigarette case. It has your two batteries down in it. You drop them in and it charges up. The flashing light means that it's charging. This light indicates the charge of the pack itself. Blue is full charge, green is like half charge, and then red is dead. And then flashing, or no, red is like 10% or something like that. Then flashing red is dead. I actually came across that. So now that I've had about a week to play around with this and to kind of experiment with it, I have to say the batteries are itty bitty. That is the battery right there. The cartridge that you use on it is almost the same size. Now that being said, when you put the two of them together, it makes roughly the size of a cigarette and about the same shape, or the same circumference. So those of you that smoke on a regular basis and want something to be a quick fix or something to be a quick, replacement, that's really not a bad idea. Of 45 milligrams of nicotine, it's very satisfying. It's surprisingly smooth. My only problem is these cartridges burn out. But see, and I just opened it off camera, but you see here it comes in a foil package. It's that plasticky type foil, but still nonetheless an oxygen barrier to keep outside pollutants getting to it. And as you undo it, this is the cartridge. Give me just a second to retrieve that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, having to play limbo with my mic stand. Yes, I'm using my mic stand to kind of prop my video phone, because I have two phones. This is my regular phone, ladies and gentlemen. This phone is a Motorola E4 that I originally had probably a year ago, and it quit working, so I stopped using it. Because of the nature of my business, I have to have a phone. I have to be able to get a hold of either my regular boss or clients whenever I'm working for myself. So once you take it out of the wrapper, here's the cartridge. And I don't know if it's meant to be an act of deception or if that's just the way this thing works. But you see in this dark colored part, you can't really see it that well on camera. Let me try something, ladies and gentlemen. I know that's a little bit blinding. Oh yeah, there you go. Now you can see it really, really well. Let me try holding it off camera. See if that makes a difference. You can kind of sort of see the liquid inside. And I know that's going to be a little bit blinding. You can kind of see the liquid inside. There we go, that's better. See, now you can see it really well when I'm able to cover up the light. You see the little bitty air bubble right there close to the top, and whenever I turn it, the air bubble moves with it. And see, the stuff isn't like water. It's not flowing like water, so it's probably safe to assume that we have a 70-30 mix in here. Either 70-30 or 75-25. Excuse me. So whenever you pull on it, whenever you actually use it and vape with it, it's actually a pretty satisfying cloud. It's a satisfying hit. It's not a very harsh throat hit. Because of the limited air passage, which I'll show you right quick. Here's the air passage, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can bring it in focus. It's not wanting to focus. Okay, so can't really focus in on it that well, and this thing is not the greatest of cameras, but you can see as I rotate it, the little indentions there, those are the air holes. And it pulls. I haven't actually looked at it this way. That's just trash. Okay, so the indentions are on the battery itself. You can see as I turn it right there. See those 4 little indentions around the edge? And then once you screw it on, those little indentions are your air holes. Now, due to the limited airflow, you can only pull on it. You can only pull on it like a cigarette. Sorry about that. I didn't turn my phone on silent. That was my text message tone. Love me some Fred Sanford. But okay, getting back into it, you see there's a rubber cap over the threads to protect the threads. There's also a rubber cap over the mouthpiece to prevent any kind of pollutants from getting into the mouthpiece. Why there are 3 holes in the end right there, I have no clue. Maybe it's something in the manufacturing of the plastic. But that sleeve around the air hole, much like your standard EVOD vaporizer, the tank is around the air hole. And it's all one solid piece. Very solid construction. This one still has a little bit in it, so I'm going to go to my other one. And just like most of your cartridge loading vapes, you unscrew one, you screw the other one on, and you're good to go. Now this is the rich tobacco flavor. I've tried a couple of other flavors. They're not bad flavors. My only complaint, number one, these batteries do not last long. You've got hour, maybe an hour and a half tops if you're using it on a regular basis. I've had these batteries go dead on me twice. I think I was playing a game on my phone, and I just, had it hanging like this, and I'm sitting there on my phone just, I'm sitting there just like this, just playing a game, and I went to hit it, and it flashed a white light. So I gave it a few minutes, I hit it again, it pulled a really weak hit, and it flashed white light again. And so I took my case and I dropped it back in there, and sure enough, as soon as I did, there's your blue light telling you the charge of the pack itself, and then you have your white lights flashing telling you that they're charging, and that's the one that I just dropped in there. And just that quick, it's done charging. Like I said, the batteries do not last very long. I don't know if it's the heat, because here in South Georgia, the heat is brutal. I mean, it's murder. So I don't know if the heat is doing something to the seals, or if it's the way I'm holding it. Maybe I'm hitting it too often. I don't know. But every 4th or 5th hit, I'll get a splash of liquid on my tongue. Not a bad taste, but the amount of nicotine in that liquid, it's a very, like a sharp sensation. The other complaint I have, I mean, the pack itself is fabulous at holding a charge. This thing can hold a charge for a day and a half or 2 days, somewhere in that neighborhood. I've only charged it like twice since I've had it. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I take it back, 3 times. I charged it earlier this morning. The first time I charged it, it was on the green light, which is half charge roughly. Second time I charged it, again, it was on red light. But then the third time I charged it was last night, because I noticed when I dropped the atomizer back in, instead of lighting up the white lights to tell me it's charging, it would flash the red light. And I pulled it out probably 30 minutes later to take a puff, and it wasn't any better than when I put it in there to charge. So that tells me the flashing red light was telling me that the pack itself is dead. But I mean, altogether, you're looking depending on where you go, I caught this one on sale for like $14. But you're looking at 15, 20 bucks maybe. Some places as high as $30, $35. So really not that much different than the price of a Juul. You're getting 5 milligrams less nicotine. However, you get 2 batteries and a charge case, which is something you don't get with the Juul. With the Juul, you get the stand-up charger, and if you wanted a second battery to use while your primary battery is charging, you would have to buy a whole nother Juul. They do, I believe for the Juul, they have a battery bank type deal that's similar to this. That might be one of the other pocket mods I was seeing, because after the Juul, there were 5 or 6 others that came out, and now they're starting to bring e-cigs back on the market. Because you guys remember the first atomizer to hit the market was an e-cig, the blue, I believe, but the blue is absolutely horrible. But now blues are starting to transition into something more of a Juul type mod. I've seen them, but I've never tried them. Maybe one day, whenever I get some money to spare, I can pick up some more pocket mods and review them for you guys. Probably my biggest complaint is these cartridges will only last about a day, depending on how often you take it. You have roughly 200 to 300 puffs, give or take. For me, that's 1 day. And they come 2 to a package. You're going to pay anywhere between $6 and $10 for a package of cartridges. So once again, it would do well as a backup, or if you don't want to smoke in your home, this would do well to keep your game chair, your movie chair, your bedroom, or something to use indoors while you're at home. The case itself is pretty resilient. I've dropped it a few times. I've had it rolling around in my pocket with change and stuff. That's where my puppy got a hold of it a little while back. You can see her teeth marks right there as well. But I mean, like I say, it's a pretty resilient little case. There's not even any real marks on it. The magnet still works. You can hear the magnet click. And check this out. If you let it go, it's got a spring-loaded lid, so it's not ever. And you see this, the lid still works. The lid is still in line, perfectly in line. See, everything is connecting exactly as it should. The little spring part in the top, which by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that little part in the top, I'm not 100% sure why that's there. But my assumption is that is there because you notice there's 2 little pieces, one right there and one right there. And they seem to be spaced about the same amount of space as those 2 are. My assumption is that whenever you close the lid, it pushes down on the tops of these and holds them in place so that whenever you have it in your pocket, your purse, or whatever, and you're walking around, you don't have this right here going on while it's in your pocket. In fact, let me set that to about the same height. Yeah, so whenever you push the lid down, it falls right there to where that spring would be essentially holding those in place so that while you're walking around, it's not shaking around, it's not, or if you were to drop it, it's kind of a shock protector to keep from, because that's your contact point right there. I would assume, get off there. I would assume that the middle is your contact and your ring right here is the ground. I don't know that, but that's your contact point, and if that thing takes too much damage, you're going to be out of a vaporizer. I know this because I've had several EVOD batteries that either the contact or the ground got messed up, and I wasn't able to charge it, so you're only able to use it until it dies. And then when it dies, you can't recharge it because, the contact is messed up and it can't. You guys follow me. Alright, so that is an update on the NJOY Loop. Like I said, outside of the cartridges burning up so daggone fast, it's actually a rather nice little a rather nice little go-to mod. You get 2 batteries with the package. You get this sturdy little case to carry it in. The case also acts as a charger. However, keep up with your charger because I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. Because you see, my phone takes a standard Android. And while that may look like a standard Android, it is not. It has its own specialized charger. So keep up with your charger, ladies and gentlemen, because it is the only one of its kind. I'm sure that if you dug through the old school flip phones and all that, you might find a charger that's close enough in match to go with this. But so there it is, the NJOY Loop. There's an actually educated update since I've been using it. I can give you my experience on it. I actually like the NJOY Loop, and the best part about it is, unlike my other vaporizers, the NJOY Loop is sold in Walgreens. And I go by Walgreens at least once a week. And it's easy to get cartridges for. It's not, I don't have to go all over town hunting somewhere that carries a specific fluid, a specific coil. I don't have to go somewhere special to get whatever materials I need. It's sold in Walgreens. They also have another mod there made by the NJOY. If I ever catch it on sale, I'll get it. That uses a slightly bigger, I don't know if you would consider it a cartridge, a tank, or a pod. But from the looks of it, it was set up kind of like one of those Kanger Tech tanks I was looking at a little while back. It's got like an L shape for your battery base, and your tank pops into the front. And it looks like a mod. I mean, literally looks like a mod. But it's got the disposable tanks, the disposable cartridges, or pods, whatever you want to call it. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is my review of the NJOY Loop. Hope you like this video. If you like this, hit that thumbs up. Let me know I'm doing something right. If for whatever reason you don't like it, give me the thumbs down. But please, 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 in the comments below, tell me why you didn't like my video. And I don't want to hear no garbage about, oh, you're soliciting smoking. No, I'm not. I'm not soliciting smoking at all. Vaping and using atomizers and smoking, that is my habit of choice. I am 30 years old and I have that option until it is deemed illegal. Which I don't see it happening, because these things are huge on the market. And if they were ever deemed illegal, our economy quite possibly could crash. Now hold on, follow me there for a minute. Because think about tobacco products in general. There have been people pushing to get rid of tobacco products for years, probably since the 80s. But it never will, because North Carolina, South Carolina, some of California, there's probably a couple other places, maybe Tennessee, that depend on tobacco crops as probably 10 to 20% of their industry. Now, add to that, you have the farmers that grow the crop. You have the government taking taxes from the land, from the crops, the fertilizer, from everything that goes in detail with that. Take into account, you have the tobacco companies that buy the tobacco. They put, what, 2,000 people in every facility to work? And there's, I think in South Carolina alone, there's like 20 facilities there. And 2,000 people times 20 facilities, and I'm saying on average, I'm kind of taking a stab at it. Some of you guys, if you want to, get on Wikipedia, Google, whatever, do the research of it. But you have all those people to work there. Then you have the executives, the higher paid people, the ones that use this more so than these. The ones that come up with the new ideas, such as the Views, the NJOY, the Blue, or the guys that come up with the designs, like the Copenhagen can, the Grizzly can, the new design of the Winston cigarettes. You have all different people that design these different logos, that design these different products. Then you have all these different people that come up with different flavors. Like Black & Mild used to be, which Black & Mild is Middleton's tobacco company. Black & Mild used to be just that aromatic vanilla musky flavor. Now Black & Mild is started off with the apple flavor. That was the first time they deviated from their original flavor. Now they have wine, cream, rhythm, blues, jazz. They have all these different flavors. And now Black & Mild is starting to introduce wood tips. Or, they're not starting to. Wood tips have been around for a couple of years. But you get where I'm going with this. You have all the people in the design industry of the equation. Break it on down a little bit more. Let's see these ripples go further. From the tobacco facility, from where they cut the leaves, they process it, cut it up, and they put it and they put it in these batches. Not to mention the imports. We import tobacco from South America, Africa, and some of Europe. Okay? Imports alone employ probably, when you're accounting the pilot or captain, the crew, whether it's airplane, helicopter, or boat, or ship, you have the crew, you have the general laborers that actually handle the product from one container to the next, from one place to the next. You have the truck drivers that once the product is in country, they take it to different places. You have the customs officials that check every package. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish this out since I've already got this can of worms open and I'm already on this subject. But okay, so far we have already amounted to probably at least 5 to 8% of the entire United States population. That's a lot of people. Take that also into account the hundreds, possibly thousands of businesses that are tied into it. Plus sponsorships. And I just happen to remember it. Larry the Cable Guy said something about Winston sponsoring NASCAR. Winston has almost always been in NASCAR. Take into account, like I said, the different merchandise, which Camel and Marlboro are probably the two biggest names in merchandise as far as tobacco products. Okay, take also into account the number of stores that sell these products. Wait, skipping from that. From tobacco facility where it's cut, processed, treated, flavors added to it, all that other good jazz, and it's placed in batches, you have the different subdivisions that it goes to. For Philip Morris, I think it's Marlboro Checkers, Parliament, I think. I could be wrong. And that's 3 pretty popular name brands right there. You can always flip the cigarette pack over or the tobacco can over and see exactly who the mother company is. There's R.J. Reynolds, Philip Morris, there's Middleton. Well, I think Middleton's another subdivision. But you get my point. From the big names, it comes out to the little subdivisions. Instead of just Class A cigarettes, it's Marlboro, Newport, Winston, what's that other one? Benson and Hedges. And then from there, you have broken down in different flavors. Marlboro alone has, what, 18 different flavors? You've got Marlboro Red, Marlboro Light, Marlboro Menthol Gold, Marlboro Silver, Marlboro Southern Cut, Marlboro Black Red, Marlboro Black Menthol. The list goes on. And you have that in every single class of cigarette. Even Bugler, Kite, where you have to get the tobacco in hand, put it on the paper, roll that up, and then you have your cigar companies. I mean, just and then it goes even further. From there, it goes to the individual stores. Bear in mind, this whole process is taxed all the way back to the farmer. All the way back to the farmer that planted the seed, sprayed the fertilizer, and grew it. Then you have the I've already covered that, but from farmer to harvester, the truck drivers, the tobacco facility, the tobacco company, Now you have the individual stores. Every 7-Eleven, Citgo, Chevron, Shell, you have the individual stores. They pay a tax. And there are truck drivers that are paid to deliver it. Then you have the hundreds, thousands, possibly millions of people that are attracted to one form of tobacco or another. Whether you dip, chew, smoke, or vape, you're attracted to at least one of them. Not everyone. Don't get offended, YouTube. Not everyone. Because not everyone is a smoker. I have several friends who are non-smokers. In fact, several of my in-law family are non-smokers. My blood family is majority smoker and dipper. But there are still some that do not smoke, dip, or chew. That being said, with that many people being attracted to tobacco, that brings them into these stores and buys 2 packs a day, a carton a week, whatever your habit is. A can a day, a can every 2 days, a roll a week. Whatever your choice is, whatever your habit is. You have all these different stores that sell this, and once again, taxes are being paid. I don't have a cigarette pack on hand to show it. Actually, hold on. Let me take a look at something. Every tobacco product has some kind of a tax on it, and I don't see a tax sticker on this. Although that number right there could very easily be the tax identification number. Because everything that's taxed has an identification number, which, by the way, this is, I guess you say, my flavor of the week. I haven't had any of these in a very, very long time. They are so good in my opinion. But, once again, ladies and gentlemen, unless you are legal age, unless you're legal age, don't start a habit if you don't have one. Even if you are legal age, don't start a habit if you don't have one. Because it gets expensive. And then when you cannot afford this habit, it becomes even more of a problem. So, I'll conclude this video to say that from farmer to consumer, being taxed the whole way, you have a 7%. It varies from place to place. But here in Georgia, you have a 7% state merchandise tax. You have an 8% county tax, a 3% across-the-board grocery tax, a 10% convenience tax, and then you have the individual tax. For tobacco, I think it's 11%. That accounts that when you look at... Now, most of these taxes are already included in the price. On average, most convenience stores pay $3 to $4 for a pack of cigarettes. So why are we paying $5 to $6? Those taxes. And then you have that 7%, or in our case 8%, that is a county tax that is charged on top of it. You have the previous 4 taxes. You have the previous tax brackets. You have the tax on travel transportation and shipping. You have that tax. You have tobacco tax. Then you have the inspection, and then you have not sales tax, broker tax. I think they call it. It's either broker tax or salesperson tax, but it's a tax that the store itself pays pretty much in permission to sell this product. And then you, the consumer, when you walk in the door, you pay their price plus a margin profit plus the taxes. Then you pay a sales tax on top of that, which is generally ordained by state. In our case, is 7%. Now, when you add the numbers together, the United States government is making probably in the billion-dollar range of taxes on tobacco alone. So no, they are not going to render tobacco illegal. they will tax it, class it, and all this other good jazz, but they will never render it illegal. If they do, it probably won't be in my lifetime. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of education, a little food for thought there, things that run through my head. I know that this is going to be a long video, but that's my review of the NJOY Loop. That's my thought process on tobacco companies and different tobacco products. Once again, I'm Christopher Lamar, and I hope y'all have a good day.